Alright, so now that Bernie Sanders is dropped out, we have Blue No Matter Who trending. I'm not sure if I would want my name associated with something like that. Blue No Matter Who? Really? So it just doesn't matter who it is? That's how low your standards are? I mean, Joe Biden is honestly one of the worst candidates I've seen in a long time. Trump is arrogant for sure, but at least he's a coherent, arrogant person. I can actually understand what he says. He can actually get to the finish line of an ordinary sentence without completely butchering it or mumbling his way through or losing his train of thought after 3 words. Joe Biden is a hilarious pick. It's just a great snapshot of where the Democratic Party is at. They're willing to put all their money on a guy whose own campaign has to be biting their fingernails every time he speaks publicly, because almost every time he speaks, it's just an unmitigated disaster. Not knowing who he's talking to, not knowing what state he's in, not remembering one of the more famous lines in American history from the Declaration of Independence. You know, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Yeah, you know the thing. This guy is a disaster. Even if he won, which he won't, he wouldn't be anything but a dud, a do-nothing, know-nothing president, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I guess I'd rather have a do-nothing president than a president like Bernie Sanders that thinks he can assemble some super team to centrally plan entire industries from Washington, D.C. That would be a true disaster. But anyway, how great would it be? This would never happen in a million years, but how great would it be if the Democrats actually knew anything? What if they actually called Trump out for some real, actual, legitimate criticisms? What if they actually said, hey, before the economy crashed because the coronavirus pricked the bubble, you were there screaming at the Fed to keep inflating that bubble. You kept yelling about Jerome Powell being ineffective because the Federal Reserve wasn't funneling enough monetary cocaine into the economy to the extent that you wanted. Do you, Trump, realize how much that distorts the market? After all, interest rates aren't some lever to be pushed and pulled by a central authority. They're supposed to be an important signal being sent to investors, lenders, borrowers, savers, and consumers. I mean, that would shock me if Democrats ever said anything like that, because it would be a decent jab at Trump. But of course, the Fed is how the state feeds its deficit spending habit like some sort of a junkie, so of course they wouldn't say anything like that. But another option would be to criticize his tariffs. There were quite a few consumer products that we were seeing prices increase for because of his tariffs. You could talk about that, Democrats, but no, again, too many Democrats have been idle when this kind of nonsense has gone down in the past, so that's no good. But I'd forgive you for that if you wanted to criticize Trump for it. I'd have to say, yeah, you're right about that. But no, it won't happen, because the truth is Democrats have no idea why they're supposed to hate Trump with the vitriol with which they do hate him. I swear it's a weird thing where the hatred I see for Trump coming from the Democrats doesn't match their reasoning. I mean, you can't hate him that much for being responsible for any innocent people dying around the world from our foreign policy, because Democrats routinely turned a blind eye when Obama did it. You can't hate him for his terrible history with women. You're casting your support for Joe Biden, who, well, has a few accusations against him as well. You can't hate him for the Federal Reserve or the war on drugs. I mean, I give Trump an F- on both of those. But you can't hate him as much as you do for that, because Obama was the same way. And Joe Biden was right there with Obama. After all, he was his VP when Obama droned a lot of innocent people around the world. That's another little detail people seem to forget. This guy was right beside the guy at the helm when all of that stuff went down. But people just routinely and very conveniently forget that he was right there when we were bombing innocent people and killing them. So yeah, Blue No Matter Who. Give me a break, and who are you kidding? I don't care how badly you criticize Trump, even though Democrats are awful at it, even though there is some meat there to work with, they'd rather just pound their hands on an empty plate. But Blue No Matter Who, stop pretending as if the blue team isn't filled to the brim with just as many sociopaths as the red team. But you could have at least found a coherent human being on the blue team to deliver their ridiculous message. But instead you get some guy who trips over every other word that he speaks. But anyway, that's it for now. Please like, sub, share, and take it easy.